Today's Sunshine Note is titled, Neck Deep in Pond Slime. So I saw that there is nothing better for a man than to enjoy his work, because that is his lot. For who can bring him to see what will happen after him? Ecclesiastes 3:22. Over the course of 15 years, I've worked in 23 different jobs, and I have never been fired from any of them. That's a little more than 2 per year, which doesn't necessarily look good on a resume, but whoever puts down all their jobs anyway. The first 7 or 8 years were doing manual labor, mowing fields of hay, digging ditches for irrigation installations, or up to my neck in pond muck while clearing a truckload of dead and decaying weed slime from a pond. The weed slime job was probably the one I hated most, because you could hardly breathe on account of the foul, choking smell that came up from this stuff. The weeds were actually long bulrushes that would crumble into the water and wrap around your legs and hands, and they decayed into a smashy pulp that somehow clung to the silk, muddy bottom of the pond no matter how hard you pulled. As I mentioned, the smell was overwhelming. It had the sickening makes you throw up odor that anything organic gets when it's been left to sit in pond water for several months. I spent the better part of 2 days at this endeavor, just so the pond could be presentable for its owners and not spread its stench all over the estate. In future years, whenever I got tired of whatever current job I held, I'd always think back to that nasty pond and thank my lucky stars I wasn't doing that anymore. I think Solomon could relate to my experience somewhat, for he takes a long look back over his lifetime and looks to see if anything he's done has been of lasting benefit to anyone. He spends much of Ecclesiastes describing how, throughout his life, he methodically looked for things that made him happy, for endeavors that would cause him to be remembered, for anything that held true meaning. And at the end of chapter 3, he sums things up by saying that in the end, there is nothing better for a man to do than to enjoy his work in here and now. That gives some clarity to things, because we spend so much of our time living in the future or in the past. Solomon says you need to enjoy what you do today, not what you did in the past or will do someday. And through Solomon, God calls us to live in the here and now of our daily lives, promising that He will take care of the past and the future if we let Him. May God bless you today.